Welcome to the Upside Up Podcast. On this episode,
You are a great accountant. I firmly believe that. I have no evidence of it.
How have I never noticed this?
Look, it's just the way it was. It's the way it was.
I'm not talking to you at all. I finally hit what I think it would be considered full adulthood. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it.
You know, half of our listeners are like, "What are they even talking about?"
Yeah.
Well, good for them. I won't be watching.
Buckle
that.
up, baby.
Can we guess your age based on your Thanksgiving food tastes?
You can tell Buzzfeed wrote this because they don't have watching football on here.
Yeah. All right.
How sweet and sentimental.
and now, here's your host, Jeremy Neas and Garrett Horn.
Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. Welcome to the Upside Up Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy S. Neas, and I'm joined by the wannabe country star, wannabe Alabama football player, but in reality, an accountant, Garrett A. Horn. How you doing?
You're so creative, Jeremy.
That was a good joke.
Yeah.
It was an accountant joke.
But I'm a good accountant.
You are a great accountant. I firmly believe that. I have no evidence of it whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I mean, only what you tell me. You've moved up the company ladder. I mean, that's good.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. All right, welcome to
Awkward.
a surprise episode of the show. This is our Thanksgiving special, and it looks to be a good one. Today on the show, we're going to tell a story. It's a story I wrote, so I'm not sure if I wanted to share that with you or not, and depending on how this goes, if it goes horribly, y'all are going to go, Jeremy is an idiot. If it goes great, you'll think, Jeremy's so creative.
I'm just voicing the characters.
Yeah, that's right. So we're taking a risk here. That will be narrated by the one and only producer of the show, Caleb Valander, and we really appreciate him doing that for us. We'll have the Clash of the Wits, as always, and then we'll just we'll just banter a little bit. We'll just catch up, and we've got a cool quiz that I found that's Thanksgiving themed, so I thought that might be fun for us as well.
Caleb has a very soothing voice.
He does. He does.
He's going to be a great narrator.
I have full confidence. So this was a surprise for you listeners coming out on Thanksgiving Day, as it has.
Surprise!
Surprise!
That was a surprise too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. But so we didn't ask for listener questions, so I brought some questions for us to talk about here at the end of the show, and then we'll have a compelling contemplation as always. So that's all the preview junk out of the way. We're not going to do any upside up headlines. So what do you say without further delay? We present
Harold the Cyclops, written by Jeremy Neas and presented by Upside Up Entertainment. Charles and Kenny are brothers who love a good adventure. Charles, 2 years older than his 8-year-old brother, has always been the leader of the two. They have been on many adventures together, adventures of discovery, learning, fun, laughter, and sometimes even pain. On a previous adventure, Charles rescued Kenny from a poisonous snake. Though they don't know it, today will be the greatest adventure yet. Charles, excited to get this hot southern summer day started, wakes Kenny up.
Come on, sleepyhead. I've got a good feeling about today.
Kenny bounces out of bed thanks to a few shoves by his energy-filled older brother, and they head downstairs to get their breakfast before heading out. Everyone knows no middle-aged schoolboy would survive a big adventure without a bowl of sugary cereal. The boys inhale their food and tell their mom that they are going out. She promptly tells them,
"Be safe, and if you go in the woods, remember don't go down the big hill."
The boys have heard this instruction only every day for the past 2 years, and barely even hear the words their mother spoke. The boys quickly head out, minds filled with imagination and anticipation. Kenny has no idea where they're going, but he trusts his older brother to lead him to fun and excitement. Charles also has no idea where he's going. He doesn't care. All he cares about is finding something. He leads Kenny into the woods behind their home, where they spend about an hour running around, breaking sticks, having stick fights, skipping rocks in a nearby stream, looking at bugs, and maybe eating a few of them. Charles has a large rock collection from these woods, and he is intent to find one to trump all the others in his collection. They are boys, after all. It was during one of those stick fights that Charles, who always wins, Kenny is 8 years old after all, trips over a root while backpedaling. Worse than that, he trips down the hill his mom told them not to go down. If there were girls around, Charles would obviously act like he wasn't hurt, but there are no girls around, and, well, he still acts like he isn't hurt. He is a boy, after all. Charles brushes himself off, thanks to the help of his trusty sidekick Kenny, and Kenny suggests that they get back up the hill as soon as possible. Charles, being the curious risk-taker he is, has other ideas. Kenny, of course, follows his brother's lead.
Wait for me!
He shouts. The boys' curiosity is stimulated as they have never been in this area of the woods. While looking, Charles finally finds something that surpasses his expectations, a cave in the side of the hill. Charles' first thought is,
How have I never noticed this?
but that thought is quickly interrupted by,
Kenny, we have to go inside.
Kenny follows, though scared, but seriously, it's a huge cave. Charles is right, they have to go in. Little did they know that this cave is the means by which they meet someone who would change their lives forever. The boys start to explore the cave when something catches Charles's eye.
Kenny, check this out.
Sunlight came from the opening of the cavity and glistened on the prettiest rock a young boy had ever seen. Sparkly, the size of his hand, and perfectly round. What more could a boy who loves rocks want? He puts his newfound possession from nature in his pocket, and the boys continue curiously looking around the cave. Eventually, they reach the end and start to turn back when Kenny trips over his own feet, klutzy kid, and falls against a small stalagmite. Taken aback, literally, the natural structure doesn't brace his fall like he expected. The stalagmite tilts over like you would see in a fiction story or something, causing a squeaky hinge noise to come from the back wall of the cave. The back wall they previously believed to be the end of the cave opens, and through the doorway is an extremely bright white light blinding them for a moment. The two regain their vision and see a colorful, lush, beautiful land, unlike the woods they thought they were in. What will the boys do, you ask? Of course they're going to check it out. The curious boys enter this newfound world. The sky is a gorgeous orange-pink color like they would see at the end of a summer day, full of fun and adventure. The trees are blue, which, to boys of their age, is the coolest thing they've ever seen. After exploring for a while, they stumble upon a house bigger than the Biltmore estate in North Carolina the two visited at the beginning of summer break. In amazement, they knock on the door, for the doorknob is at least 20 feet above them. What the boys, and all humans, don't realize is that what's behind every door, big or small, will affect you for the better or for worse. As they enter the home, the boys see a creature unlike they had ever seen. He only had one large eye, which was set in the center of his face. He, turning to see the door opening, looked down at his welcome mat to see the miniature beings we know as Charles and Kenny.
Hello there. What brings you to Unioptic? Well, we just kind of stumbled upon it,
stuttered Charles.
Well, I'm glad you did. Welcome. What are your names?
Still hesitant, but with more confidence, Charles replies,
I'm Charles, and this is my younger brother, Kenny. Well, it's very nice to meet you, boys. My name is Harold. If you don't mind my asking, why do you have 2 eyes?
Why do you only have one?
questioned Kenny, as only an innocent 8-year-old can.
Fair enough. Tell me, do you see 2 of me? No, there's only one,
replies Charles.
How strange. I take it you're not from around here. How much of Unioptic have you seen? Not much. We saw your huge house and had to come see it,
explained Charles.
Well, let's get a move on. There's much in my land for you to explore,
Harold urged, and off they went. Charles was terrified throughout the conversation, but tried to put on a strong face for his brother. Kenny thought he was kinda cute and fun in a scary monster kind of way. Harold takes his new friends all around the mysterious, colorful land. Harold shows them many structures, which he tells them he built. He is extremely sweet and friendly to the boys. Instead of putting them through the physical struggle of exploring the land, Harold carries them both throughout their journey, one on each shoulder. The boys stop at the edge of a mountain that Harold shows them. The view was breathtaking, a view that gives Charles chills. Charles, by this point, is absolutely giddy. What an adventure! On their way back to Harold's house, Charles shows Harold his prized possession, the shiny rock he found in the cave. Harold looks on with amazement. Charles tells him how they found it, and that it's the coolest thing he's ever had, and that he wouldn't give it up for the world. After a while, the boys notice that their cycloptic friend is the only living thing they have seen in Unioptic. Kenny asks,
Where's your mommy?
She left me when I grew up. I haven't seen her since,
Harold says as his countenance falls.
Does anyone live in this world besides you?
Asked Charles.
Yes, but I never see them. That's why I'm so happy to see you boys,
Harold replied.
We'll be your friends. We love it here,
replies Kenny, which forces a smile to come across Harold's face. But this smile isn't like the friendly smiles he had previously showed. He is thinking. Suspicious of their new friend, Charles quickly interrupts.
Well, Harold, it's been wonderful to meet you, but we must be getting back for lunch before our mother starts to worry. Oh, don't leave quite yet. I want to show you my house first. Who knows when you'll return to my land for another visit? Okay, but just for a moment,
replies Charles sheepishly. Upon returning to the mansion, the boys learn that it is very dark inside Harold's home. Dark and lonely. All this room, yet no one to share it with. What fun is a life without someone to spend it with?
Do you ever have company over?
Kenny asked.
No, never.
Harold responded.
Well, I love you, Harold.
Kenny boyishly exclaims. This brings a massive yet suspicious smile onto Harold's face, for what other smile could he have? Harold takes the boys throughout his home and concludes the tour by showing them the cellar. As he opens the door, the boys see a dark, damp room.
Don't be scared. Go on down,
Harold said. Charles, being the protective older brother, goes down a couple steps into the scary cellar. Suddenly, he notices Harold isn't following. Charles turns around to see Kenny captured in Harold's massive left hand.
Don't take another step, or I will lock you in this cellar,
Claims Harold.
Harold, that's my brother,
Yells Charles.
Yes, and now he will live with me. I am lonely here, and I like him very much.
Let me go! Let me go!
Yells Kenny as he struggles and hits, trying to escape the tight grip of the giant. While Harold is struggling to hold on to the squirming Kenny, Charles runs up and kicks him in the shin with enough force that a donkey would be proud.
Ow.
He would not let this be his last adventure with his beloved younger brother. Harold, writhing in pain, dropped Kenny. Seriously, you would too. Have you ever hit your shin on a coffee table or something? You wonder if you'll ever be able to walk again for just a moment. Anyway, the boys ran out of the house. Thankfully for the boys, Harold's long legs are clumsy, especially now that he is limping, and the two are able to escape this land by returning to the cave from which they entered. Scared, tired, and adrenaline pumping through their little hearts, the boys return out of the woods to find their mother talking with a policeman.
What's going on?
Asked Kenny. Their mother, looking as if an oversized elephant had just gotten off her chest, runs toward them, hugging them with tears in her eyes, just happy to see the two back alive.
Where have you been?
Asked their mother in that tone, that wretched tone no child ever wants to hear.
Did you go down the big hill?
Yes, Mama, we did. It was terrifying. We saw...
Never mind what you saw. You two will answer to your father for what you've done. I'm just so thankful you are okay.
Says their loving mother as tears run down her eyes. Later that night, after punishments had been rendered, the two laid in their beds, replaying in their minds this adventure like no other.
Charles, what would have happened if you hadn't gotten me out of there?
Kenny innocently asked.
Don't you worry about that. I wouldn't let that Cyclops keep you. I could have beaten him with one eye closed,
Charles joked. As the two dozed off to sleep, one thing was for certain. Though Harold had but one eye, he had two faces.
All right, so we hope you've enjoyed that story. It's a little different than what we normally do. We might try to do that. Ugh. Yeah, that's right. But we might try to do things like that here in the future. Now it is time for the Clash of the Wits. Hit that music, Maestro. All right, so Justin, you won last week. You're leading 8-7, much to Steven's dismay.
Yeah, did you hear like he was mad about that?
Was he?
Well, I heard Emma say Emma wasn't happy about it, and she said that Steven was kind of like confused as to why he didn't win.
Oh yeah. Well, hey man.
Both were terrible. So
Look, it's just the way it was. It's the way it was. All right. So Justin, what do you have this week?
Why was the little ink drop crying? Well, because his mother was in the pen and he didn't know how long the sentence would be.
I was planning on not laughing at that one, but I think it's so late that I just
Yeah, we're
cracked
kind of
me
doing
up.
this late at night, so the rest of this episode is going to be funny. All
It
right.
cracked me up.
All right, Steven, what do you have?
So the other day, Amy sent me to the grocery store to get some groceries for Thanksgiving. I don't like being sent to the grocery store because stuff like this always happens. You know, don't you hate it when you go to the grocery store and you mean to buy organic vegetables, but then you get home and you find out they're just regular donuts?
Regular donuts. All right. Who do you think won?
Steven.
Steven?
Yeah.
I was going Justin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like donuts a lot.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah.
and I like how he switched it up on us.
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. You could probably tell by my voice. I was like, oh, that was it. Caught me off guard. What do you think, Caleb? He's pondering.
Well, Justin's was funny.
He says Justin's was funny.
In a funny sort of way.
In a punny kind of way. Okay. Steven.
was clever and original.
So what are you saying?
Okay, Switzerland.
He says that they're both good. So I guess the people have to decide this one. If no votes occur, we will, I guess, go to Heather for the answer. So, but y'all got to vote which one you like. I like Justin's better. You like Steven.
Right.
All right. So the second part of the episode here, I just thought, man, we haven't talked on the show a lot about what's going on in our lives that much. So I thought we could just kind of shoot the breeze here for a minute and catch up. So today, obviously we're not recording this on Thanksgiving Day. Today in my life, I took my last lab practical that was structured like all the other ones. We have a final, but it's a group project. So this was my last lab practical for hopefully the rest of my life. And for those of you that know me, that's a big deal. I hate those tests. They're where you have to basically play pretend that you're a therapist, and they're really easy to fail. So that's what's been going on in my life.
Well, congrats, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I start the clinic in the new year again. I go on a clinical rotation, but yep, I'm getting close to the end of school.
That old graduation.
That's right, man. Party.
That's
no,
right.
Not really. So what's been going on in your life?
Well, you know, I finally hit what I think it would be considered full adulthood.
Why
Not
is
that I haven't been an adult for a few years and acting like one, but I'm just so occupied all the time now. I always have something going on.
It's so true.
So I've never had this before, and I think it's just all these responsibilities and all these places to be. And now that I'm married, I've got 2 lives to be a part of.
Sure.
It's a lot. It takes a lot of getting used to, but it's great. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. Well, great for you. So it's been an adjustment.
Yeah, it's not been a bad adjustment. It's just been wow.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, when you're this busy, you're not bored, but then you're just like, man, where is the time going? I mean,
Yeah.
it is November,
Yeah, for real.
late November.
For real.
So
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I feel like I just got out of the clinic, but that was like a month and a half ago or something like that. So maybe not even that long. I don't know. I don't even know what the time is. But so something that's kind of going on big in our lives right now, something big that is going on, I should say, is the Iron Bowl coming up.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I bet you don't. So when y'all are listening to this, it'll just be a couple days away, but seems to be a pretty big matchup. It should be for the West this year. So I'm excited for it. It should be a good one.
I'm not talking to you at all during Iron Bowl week.
I'll miss you, buddy.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to talk too much about sports, but I feel
Sure.
pretty good about Alabama being in the playoff either way. At
Yeah,
least that's what I'm telling
agree.
myself. So if
Yeah.
we lose, I'm not like
Yeah.
distraught.
Yeah.
Well, I will be, but
I texted you. You never responded, but I texted you
I'm
saying
bad
that
about that.
if I told you if Alabama beat Mississippi State, I thought they'd probably be in the playoff. I just don't trust some of the other teams. Half of our listeners are like, what are they even talking about?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's just
Roll
kind of
Tide.
big deal in our lives. War Eagle. So we get some fun coming up. Got any huge plans over the Thanksgiving?
This is another big adjustment where
Sure.
I'm going. I'll be going. I've got at least 3 places right now, and it could increase.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of places to go, and on Thursday and Friday, which would be today when you're listening, or
Yeah.
tomorrow Black Friday. But
Sure. You planning to go Black Friday shopping?
Amber's mentioned it. I don't plan on doing the really early morning thing. I wouldn't mind going at some point during the day, but
Yeah. I've got to work, so I doubt that I will. But we're having a family get together on Friday. I don't really know what we're doing Thursday today as you're listening to this. I probably just hanging around the house. Maybe Heather and Caleb are coming over. I don't know.
Alabama plays basketball on Friday, so I'll be watching that.
No, well, good for them. I won't be watching
Buckle
that.
up, baby.
Buckle what up?
That's their catchphrase.
I
for
know.
those
I
who
was
don't
trying
know.
to ruin it.
You're not funny.
Yes, I am. All right. So, well, I'm glad that your life is going well and you're adjusting. I can only imagine how difficult some of that might be, but hey, you're with the person that you want to be with. So, yeah, fantastic for you. Happy for you, man.
Thanks, man.
All right. So I was preparing for this episode, and I wanted to do something Thanksgiving themed, and so I found a quiz that I thought we could try right quick. It's from Buzzfeed. You can hold your opinions, but it's called. Let's see, can we guess your age based on your Thanksgiving food tastes? So we're just gonna run through this and see what they get. So it says pick a pie first, and the options are pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, apple cream pie, cranberry pie, or sweet potato pie. Wow.
My favorite kind's not on here.
Out of those, what would you choose?
Pecan pie.
Pecan pie. I think I'm going for Thanksgiving. That's for Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so I would go pumpkin pie. I'm traditional, man.
You know what my favorite type of pie is? Chocolate chip pecan pie.
Ah, all right. I'm not a big pecan pie personally.
You're a terrible person too. So.
Pecan pie guy is what I meant to say. All right, let's pick a side. Sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, Brussels sprouts, or stuffing. That's easy for me, stuffing all day long. It is possibly one of my favorite foods.
I don't have a lot of stuffing. My family doesn't make that at Thanksgiving.
I didn't think you liked stuffing.
I don't like dressing. I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't know if I've even ever had stuffing, but I've always kind of wanted to try it.
They're very close to the same thing, as far as I know. I think they may have slightly different spices to them, and stuffing is more breadcrumbs, while dressing is more pureed. Maybe
I think I would like stuffing better.
I like either one just fine. But I love them actually.
I picked mashed potatoes because I could eat mashed potatoes with any meal,
Gotcha.
anytime.
Yeah, I love mashed potatoes as well, but nothing beats stuffing. All right, let's pick a bread: cornbread, buttermilk biscuits, breadsticks, potato rolls, crescent rolls, or dinner rolls. With Thanksgiving dinner, I think I want a dinner roll.
What's the difference in potato roll and dinner roll?
I don't know what a potato roll is.
Yeah, I'm going dinner roll.
All right, let's pick a cranberry sauce.
I don't like cranberry sauce.
I love cranberry sauce, and I like personally. I like homemade okay, but they usually put like nuts and stuff in it or something, and I'm not about that. I like the canned gelatin type.
Well, can I go NA?
Yeah, probably.
I can't. I guess I'll go homemade because that at least looks a little appetizing.
All right, works for me. Pick a stuffing. Cornbread. What is that?
I just said I never had
Chilean
stuffing,
apple?
Jeremy.
Sorry. Classic breading or sausage. I'm going classic.
Classic looks the best.
All right, pick a leftover recipe. Classic leftover sandwich, so turkey, stuffing, all that kind of stuff. Thanksgiving breakfast bake, leftover burrito, pumpkin pie overnight oats, or slow cooker cranberry apple pie cobbler. And then there's no extra cooking, just a slice of pie for breakfast. I'm going classic leftover sandwich.
Yeah, I've done the leftover sandwich several times, but also done the pie several times too, but I'm going with the sandwich.
All right. And then what's the best part of the meal? The turkey, the sides, the dessert, all the food, the nap after dinner, or being with the ones you love. And while I love stuffing and the sides, it's being with the ones I love. That's my favorite part.
You can tell BuzzFeed wrote this because they don't have watching football on here.
Yeah. that was all right.
I'm not a fan of BuzzFeed.
I can tell.
Being with the ones you love.
All right.
How sweet and sentimental.
All right. My age is 24. It says, you usually love to try new foods, but not so much this time of year. You may be in your 20s, but on Thanksgiving, it's all about your childhood favorites. And BuzzFeed, you nailed me. I'm not 24. It's 3 years older than I am, but the description's perfect.
I got 42.
All right. What was the...
You love cooking, incorrect, and trying new things, maybe, but always go back to the classic crowd pleasers in the end. It works. Why change it? Okay. I don't know why that makes you 42, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Thank you, BuzzFeed. Anyway, so you can go and try that. It's called... it's about picking foods picking your age based on your Thanksgiving foods.
I've never been 42 in my life.
I've never been 24. How about that? All right. So, again, we didn't have listener questions this episode, but just a couple questions we'll run through right quick. What's your opinion of Christmas music, Garrett?
Only after Thanksgiving.
Only after Thanksgiving.
Amber,
but do you enjoy it?
Amber loves Christmas music, and she's already started listening to some of it.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that because I don't like it before Thanksgiving. But after Thanksgiving, man, that's all I listen to on the radio. So I love it.
I love
actually.
it too.
But, I mean, honestly, it's like before Christmas, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's like my least favorite kind of music before Christmas. I mean,
Wow.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then after Thanksgiving, boom. It's
Yeah.
like I flip a switch.
Well, how about that? Flip that switch. I really enjoy it too. I don't mind it just around Thanksgiving because I've liked preparing Thanksgiving foods while listening to Christmas music. But I don't start until Thanksgiving week. That's where I'll draw the line. All right. Would you rather be able to play by ear or paint or draw by sight? What do you think, Garrett? Play by ear or do something artistic with your hands by
Play
sight?
by ear, probably.
I'd rather play by ear as well. I'm around a lot of musical people, and I wish I was more musical. All right, one state you would like to visit in the U.S. that you haven't yet. I'm going Vermont or Rhode Island.
I want to go I've heard my family's been to Wyoming. And they said it was beautiful.
I'm sure it was.
Wyoming would be a good one.
All right, I like it. And what is the worst movie you've ever watched? Worst movie. This one's easy for me. People that know me pretty well already know this probably. It's Mr. Megglorium's Wonder Emporium. The worst movie I've ever seen. That is a horrible movie.
Worst movie I've ever seen.
It makes no sense. He buys shoes to last him the rest of his life. And he's on his last pair of shoes, and so he decides to die. I'm like, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's like 600 years old.
I really don't know. I don't really. It's almost like I flush really bad movies out of my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that was a waste of time. I can't really think of one.
I've got one.
What?
For you? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
See, I don't like that movie, but it's not like so bad that I just hate it.
Just anytime she sings, you got to mute it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the
really,
storyline's not that bad.
I don't like it, but
I don't like it either.
I don't know, man.
Let me think. Let's try to. Any cheap movies you've seen? What, a Hallmark movie? You hate Hallmark movies?
Yeah. Hallmark movies are just. Look, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second.
Get on it.
Those people continue to make money by writing the same story over and over and over again. Let me tell you how Hallmark's story goes. Every one of them. Okay, at the beginning of the movie, the girl or the guy is with someone that they clearly don't belong with. Okay? And it's obvious to everyone but them. So something comes along that breaks them up, and then they find someone else who they don't like at first, or they don't really fit at first, but it's obvious they're going to end up together, and you can tell within the first 15 minutes they're going to end up with this person, so you're just waiting the rest of the movie for them to end up together. The end.
Yep.
Come up with some original, and I might watch your channel.
I like them. You can get off your soapbox. I like them. I'm a hopeless romantic.
Well, you have something in common with my wife, so congratulations.
And with her sister, whom I am dating.
I know, but I was just kind of making a joke at you because you're
okay.
That's not very masculine.
Well,
but it's okay.
I like. Look, I realize that they're all that same way. What I watch them for is I've described it this way. It's like a sandwich. The beginning's the same, just like you described, and the end's the same. They're always going to end up together. It's what happens in the middle that makes them entertaining.
I don't agree. They're not really that different in the middle, though.
Yeah, they are.
They're not.
Some are in an old town, and there's like Santa Claus there, but no one knows he's Santa. And then some of them are like she's in corporate America, and then she.
Okay, but most of the time it involves her career. Honestly,
it does. It does.
I mean, and the reason I know so much about this is because my mom watches them, my sisters watch them, and my wife and her family watch them. So I have seen plenty of them, and there's I don't know. There might be one that I've ever found mildly entertaining.
Do you remember that Amish one we watched?
Yeah, that one was actually pretty good.
Okay, that was funny.
It was funny because it was Amish and it was like so random.
Yeah, I know. It was like, why are we watching this?
But man,
there was a character in it. I wish I could remember what happened, but you said we made fun of him.
Oh, that's so right.
It was so funny.
He ended up being like a hero, right? Like
yeah, but he looked like so scared at one point.
Oh, that's right.
He was like hugging the girl. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and you know what? To be clear, I'm not like anti
Love stories?
romantic love story thing. I'm not. I mean, I actually enjoy getting something out of like that of a movie, but
Yeah.
Hallmark, man, it's the same thing over and over and over again. How do y'all get tired of it?
Man, the middle's different. It's like eating
It's
a
not
different sandwich.
It all revolves
Look,
around
it all
her.
has bread. I understand that, but the middle is different. Sometimes it's PB&J. Sometimes it's ham and cheese. Look, it's different. I got you. All right.
Hallmark.
Now we're off our soapbox. And look, you're right. I realize you're right. I just like them. Sue me. All right. It's time for a compelling contemplation. And this one is one that came from my brain that I've thought about a lot recently. Have you noticed how people move a lot when they're laughing? And people move in different ways. So, like, when I laugh, I have a tendency, if it's a hard laugh, I will bend over at the waist. And that's what I do. Some people will like throw their head back, so that's like the exact opposite. That's an extension response. I have a flexion response.
Mm-hmm.
Then other people will clap, which I'm a clapper. Brad Collins,
I'm
he's
a clapper.
And
Little bit.
you for instance, you bend over, but you don't go in half. You bring up your hips, like you bring up your knees to your chest too. Is it?
I also go over sideways if I'm in
Yeah.
in the right like situation where I can do that. I like roll over sideways.
Yeah, you do that a lot too. Yeah, that is so true. I just think it's interesting that we all have these different mannerisms that when we laugh, we do all these crazy stuff. I don't know. I just think it's funny. So just a random thought there. Compelling contemplation. Well, guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this entertaining episode of the show. Surprise Thanksgiving, and I hope you're enjoying it. We want to thank Katie for her excellent work writing and playing our music. She does a great job. We can't thank her enough for all her hard work. We want to thank our friend Kevin. He helps us record the music. You see, I got to make this a little different because it's just the same thing I say every time. But we really do appreciate all this. We want to thank Justin and Steven for their awesome jokes every week and the time that they spend doing that for us. Remember to vote one way or the other for them. We want to thank our team for our team of hard, selfless workers, our head producer and editor, Caleb, and also our our narrator for this episode. So thank you to him, head graphic designer, Corbin, assistant producer, Joshua, and our voiceover artist, Justin. I want to thank you, buddy, for joining me. As always, my friend Garrett. And, yeah, so that's it. Episode 24 is in the books. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you for listening to our surprise fun episode of the show. And hey, let us know what you thought. We want to hear your feedback. All right, so let's have some fun. We have some fun stuff coming out in the future. So stay tuned for that. Let's stay upside up in this upside down world, and we'll talk at you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Leave a comment on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
What if we were so good at this that we get a job at Disney?
Huh?
Jeremy, what if I hit you in the head with this keyboard?
Blooper material.
You don't want ever to do it? You don't think my wife's talented?
I think she has
You
an
don't think
awful
my
voice.
wife...
Just
I
kidding.
hate you.
I'm just kidding, man. Of course. She's not here right now, is she?
America.
Oh, a story coming to life.
I want to be on TV!
It would probably help if I'd read this before.
Probably.
I read it.
Literally going off of this as I'm going.
I read it.
Today.
I read part of it yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
Have you ever actually read it, or did you just write it? I'm going to struggle with Harold.
Do you want me to do Harold?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to struggle! Okay.
As they enter the home, the boys see a creature unlike the boys had ever That's a lot of boys.
Boys everywhere. Hello. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Hello. Hello there. Hello. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Ruh-roh, Raggy. How does sheepishly sound?
It sounds.
Okay.
He's not the future.
No, Jeremy. He's not the future quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, let me tell you.
Spot on, my friend.
Oh no! Dad ain't crying. He's mad. Say that.
Dad ain't crying. He's mad.
Please say that. Just break it for a second.
Later that night, as
There's something funny about that. Ah.
He's getting giddy.
I am.
He. The
Oh,
Gare.
him. Okay. I was like, I don't feel giddy.
Charles. Is that it, or is that a woman? Charles, what would have happened if you hadn't gotten me out of there?
You gotta have less regular voice.
Charles, what would have happened if I... Okay, there we go. Charles! Charles!
That's like an annoying girlfriend.
Charles, where have you been?